Hey everyone. At the time I am recording this, coronavirus is sweeping the nation. Everyone is encouraged to shelter in place. So I've been doing my best to get outside from time to time, just around the yard. But everybody is looking for things to do. And I thought it'd be fun to run through some of the YouTube channels that I watch in case anyone is looking for new stuff as they're bored, they want to explore, and also just in the general vein of sharing. It's nice to know what other people are watching. Sometimes you find really good, obscure channels that you don't even know were there, and you just really enjoy them for strange reasons. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I watch on YouTube today. Some of them are more mainstream and some of them are more niche. So hopefully you guys enjoy them, and I'll try to put the links down below in the description. So if you're looking for any of these, just click the description below the video and you should be able to find links to these. First one I'm going to open with is Driven Car Reviews by Tom Volk. This guy used to work in Seattle area, still lives there as a news reporter. And he also wrote for the New York Times as a car journalist. And this guy's car reviews are insanely good. And because he used to be and still has all the skills of a cameraman, his video footage is amazing. Everything is shot really nicely. He has good running shots. He just takes a really nice view of all the photography and the shooting of the cars, but also does a great job reviewing them and is funny and offers a lot of color. For whatever reason, this guy has not that many subscribers. I think he just passed 100,000. And if you read the comments, everyone just raves about how good these reviews are and how few people actually know about this guy and his channel. So I would, if you like cars, or even if you're just interested, most of his videos are like 15 to 20 minutes long. And it is an overall view of it from a very functional standpoint. It's not Top Gear. They actually look at, the mileage. He drives them long distances. He talks about the utility of them. He loads every car with toilet paper in the back just to get an idea of the hauling cargo in a real world situation. So yeah, I would definitely check out his channel, Driven Car Reviews. He has a lot of good stuff there. Very interesting guy. Second kind of weird one I'll bring up is a channel called My Mechanics. This guy does restorations of old pieces of hardware, vices, hand saws, things that he'll find, and he does just an amazing job. There's no talking. He has text in the videos describing what he's doing, but otherwise you're just watching visuals of him sandblasting a part, which is just amazing to watch as all the rust comes off, soaking the parts, cleaning them, just doing a really nice restoration. It's really cool channel. It's hard to describe exactly what the appeal is other than you see something really old that just looks like garbage, and this guy takes it through this painstaking process of meticulously restoring it to a beautiful tool that can be used again. And he demonstrates at the end that the things he restores are usable. So I would recommend that channel as well. Really cool channel. Third weird one, but is again fascinating. This guy is called the Lockpicking Lawyer. I had no idea there's an entire subgenre of lockpicking skills on YouTube where people pick locks for fun. Uh, but there is, and he is one of these. Turns out in real life he is a lawyer, but most of his videos are extremely short, 2 to 5 minutes range, and he has all of these commercial, padlocks, gun safes, anything with a lock on a trailer hitch receiver locks, and he just shows how easy some of them are to get past, including some of them he gets past with like a paper clip or just a fork or something ridiculous. So it's actually fun to watch. He has a very kind of soothing voice and a meticulous way of going about the lockpick. And also, uh, just to find out of curiosity, which locks are more secure and which ones are not. Some of the ones that he picks up from Home Depot and Walmart are just absolute trash, and he highly recommends nobody ever use them. And he shows you how easy they are to get by with brute force as well, in some cases. Very quick to open with a hammer, like 2 seconds. So I found myself watching that channel, and I liked his presentation, and he doesn't have fluff in the video. It's just straight to the point. He picks it, offers a few comments, and that's it. He signs off. Very quick, very fun to watch. And he has like 1,000 videos. There's tons of content. Living big in a tiny house. This guy was a aspiring actor in New Zealand, and was involved in the tiny house movement and just started in when it was in its infancy, particularly in New Zealand, and started looking into how can I live in Auckland cheaper because I just don't have the money to stay in a traditional place. And he's also very ecologically focused, so he wants to reduce his impact. He wants to live off grid. Um, so he started filming this channel, and I think now it's his sole source of income along with his partner, and they're just filming all over the world now, tiny house content. They have good audio. They film with a drone, so you get aerial shots of most of the properties. He has a fun style. You can tell he's just excited to meet people and see their places and get allowed in to see their homes. And some of the homes are really cool. All tiny houses. A lot of them are on wheels, but some are shipping containers. Some are built on foundation. So I would highly recommend if you like tiny houses, check out that channel. There's a lot of good stuff on there. Bigger Pockets is something that I watch. It's a lot about real estate investing, and they have an entire forum online dedicated to helping real estate investors. Very informative. You have to weed through some things, but there's a lot of really smart people on there. And the YouTube channel does a lot of interview format, how to's, how to get started, how to flip, how to do other things, not from like a HGTV kind of oversold format, but with real nuts and bolts, like hard numbers. How do you evaluate a property? How do you weed out the bad ones from the good ones? There's some real failures on there, which are really cool to see when they're someone else's. They crash and burn. There was a guy who had a grow house in Seattle that was just filled with old marijuana paraphernalia. They had to clear all that out, rip out all the HVAC. There were squatters living in the property, and just as they got everything cleaned out, the house caught on fire and burnt. So the guy was just, I mean, he made it out and broke even, but just to see the presentation of how you go through some of these huge challenges when you're investing in some of these properties. They have some great content on their channel, so I would encourage you to check that out if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in from a real estate perspective. First We Feast, I watched Hot Ones for many seasons. Sean Evans has this show where they eat hot wings with a celebrity, and the wings get hotter and hotter, and they just work all the way down the line until the guests are completely dying from these wings. Very cool show. It's gotten super commercial in the last season or two. He's got his own game show now on True TV. So the show has kind of exploded, and the popularity is a good thing because it's gotten some really cool guests like Paul Rudd. Great show. Paul Rudd did a really funny show recently. But I kind of miss the old days when it was a little bit clunkier and very obviously amateur. Their production value has gone up and they have a lot bigger budgets. So you can tell that they're starting to change some things. But it is a fun show and a lot of people are watching it now. So that's a cool one to watch, especially if they have on a celebrity or an actor that you're interested in. My SelfReliance. I got hooked on this channel because he posted a video, and I'll link to it below. It's something about like a man in the woods builds a cabin by himself in 2 years. And that is the video. It's just an hour with no speaking of this guy by himself building an off-grid log cabin in the middle of his property in Canada with his dog, who's just a really cool golden retriever. Great channel. Really fun to watch. Even friends of mine that are not like survivalists or into the outdoors love this channel. They're like, this is just really soothing to kind of watch in the background, somebody working on the land. And again, great camera work. He's got a nice drone. He takes a lot of aerial shots. He's got really good cameras. He describes them in one of the videos, but high-end, DSLR type stuff. So the video quality is really good. He'll get shots of moose and everything else on his property. So that's a really fun channel, especially if you like the outdoors. And if you watch some of his other videos, he'll talk at the end just for maybe 10 minutes and give his perspectives on what he's doing with the property or the land, or his perspectives on life, which are cool to hear. He used to be a business person and got burned and then made his money back, kind of moved out of the city and wanted to move into more of a country lifestyle. Let's see. Gentle whispering ASMR. Some of you are flinching already. I can feel it. ASMR is this new thing where everybody whispers, and it's getting very big now. Even celebrities are filming like whisper videos where they're just whispering. The original movement of this, before it was called ASMR, I'm told it used to be just called like soft whispering or something like that, or ear to ear whispering. Anyway, for people with anxiety, for people who are looking for help relaxing, um, this started as a way to kind of soothe them. If you've ever listened to a professor in college who had kind of a slow monotone voice that was kind of lulling you into sleep, that's the idea. It's that you're listening to somebody talking, but you're not really expected to respond. And they're just giving a long monologue, and it's kind of lulling you into sleep. Um, that's most of what the videos are for. The one that I like is called Gentle Whispering ASMR. In fact, she's the only one that I watch. Her name is Maria. She's Russian. She has a nice accent. She does some videos in Russian, some videos in English. All of them are in English, but she also does Russian versions. And yeah, just really fun videos. She does it with her husband. He films and does a bunch of her editing. So she has several videos where they're just walking around Sacramento. They do shots outdoors. They do some of the role playing stuff, which weirds people out, but for whatever reason is relaxing. Like they'll pretend to give a haircut to the camera. And it's something about being in an eye doctor office, being asked those, do you see better, one or two? One or two? They ask those sorts of things. For whatever reason, that gets people into this pattern where it's very relaxing and they drift off. So if you haven't checked it out, it creeps you out, watch one of her videos and see what you think. It might still weird you out or you think this is strange, and that's fine. A lot of people just think it's weird. I like it. I find it relaxing. And a lot of her videos, when you read down in the comments, it's interesting. There's a lot of people who have anxiety, depression. There's veterans who just have a lot of anxiety issues. And although she's very upfront that she's not a therapist and these are not meant for professional treatment, a lot of people do say things like, I watch your videos every night. They help me fall asleep. They reduce my anxiety. I'm able to relax. It's hearing someone's voice at the same time as some background music or background noises seems to let people get out of their own head easier than just listening to music or some other activity that normally people would do to relax. So check it out. Hers is the only channel I can recommend. There are tons of others, and some of them are going in weird directions, but hers is just very normal as these things go. And yeah, it's fun. It's relaxing. Let's see. Last week tonight, John Oliver. I watch it. I think he's funny. I think a lot of people enjoy his stuff. It's R-rated, of course. He airs on HBO and it's unedited. So the nice thing about the YouTube channel is it's ad-free, and it's the same content you'd get from HBO minus the other parts of the show. So it's just the special edition segment. But I've been impressed with some of the research that they've done that has challenged my own viewpoints on certain things or made me aware of issues I was unaware of. And I'm a big fan of research in articles and research in journalism. And they actually do a pretty good job, at least presenting one point of view, but they do try to be somewhat objective, I find, in looking at other viewpoints, even as they're trying to make it fun and comedic for the purposes of the show. So that's a show I would recommend. Let's see what else. There's a bunch of renovation channels that I watch, guys who do reno. So Matt Rissinger has a channel. He does a lot of construction work and he talks a lot about construction materials, which I find interesting, especially insulation. The guy's an insulation nut and he just goes deep into the weeds on how to really seal a house so that you can heat it with almost nothing and cool it with almost nothing, and that everything is a tight envelope. So that's a cool channel. There's another guy that I watch. It's Homemade Home. He's got a much smaller channel, but he buys a lot of these like $5,000 and $9,000 houses cash, from different distressed owners and things like that. But he renovates most of them himself, like everything, which is unusual. Most of the guys doing it for profit, they're bringing in crews because it doesn't make sense to do all the work yourself. You want to try to renovate it and get it on the market as quickly as possible to make money. But this guy's getting them cheap. He's doing all the work himself because he enjoys it and because he's in no particular rush. So I enjoy that aspect of it a lot. You get to watch one guy doing the electrical, doing the plumbing, doing structural fixes, because a lot of these houses are in pretty rough shape. So that's a cool channel, and he has some fun commentary as well. You hear him kind of listening to other YouTube shows and podcasts while he's working. There's just a bunch of home reno sites. So if you're interested in those, shoot me a comment. I can list some more of the ones that I watch, but I find that there's quite a bit of good content on YouTube for how-to stuff. Scott McGilvery, I like him. He used to do the show Income Property. He's got a bunch of other stuff. So now he's doing a lot of YouTube specials where it's just he goes directly to someone's house and helps them do like a 1 day or a half day project to kind of turn around a specific room. I think that he's a good host. He's funny. He does a good job, and he knows how to make money with houses. So I'm kind of hoping that he gets another show soon on YouTube that's longer format, because I do miss the old income property shows. I thought those were great, which was him helping homeowners create an income property and then rent it out, which was awesome. Let's see what else. Doug DeMuro, he's another car guy. Some people find his style a little bit off, but he's doing his own thing now, which is nice. And he has a unique style. So if you like cars, but you want somebody to kind of approach it from a different angle, he definitely gives you a different perspective on some of the cars that you might not have thought about before. Christine McConnell, she had a show on Netflix called The Curious Creations of Christine McConnell, which is how I found her. And the show is so weird. It's hard to describe. It was like a mashup of like the Addams Family with Martha Stewart, along with, I don't know, like extreme baking, I guess would be the way, and crafting, because it's not just baking that she does. Anyway, she does some super amazing stuff. It's hard to describe. She makes almost all of her own things, be it like clothing, reupholstering couches in her house. She makes just custom furniture, custom this. I mean, the show was really strange. It had puppets, it had all this weird stuff. It was a fun show. A lot of people liked it. Netflix did not review it for a second season. So I thought it was really weird when I first watched the show, but it got me hooked. And then the stuff that she does, particularly her baking stuff, is just absolutely amazing with the level of detail. You think that she's going to stop. You're like, oh, that's really good. And then she takes it to the next level. And then she takes it to the next level again. So by the time you're done, you can't even believe how far she's gone to make it like perfect. So she's, in the absence of a season 2, running her own channel now. And some of the stuff is behind a paywall for Patreon supporters only, but some of the stuff is also released publicly. So if you're interested, and you have Netflix, check that show out first, because that show was just amazing. Really good production value, really good voice actors. It was super funny with the puppets and like the running plot line where she's kind of in this big Addams Family like house with the puppets that live with her. It's very macabre. It's impossible to describe, but it's a cool show. Check that out. If you like her style, hit up her YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is a little more DIY and how-to. She teaches you how to recreate some of the stuff that she does. It would take a lot of hours, but it's still cool to watch her create some of the stuff. And let's see what else. And that's probably it. Those are some of my stranger ones. I think a lot of the other ones that I watch are more mainstream, and a lot of you probably watch them as well. Just, mainstream podcasts from different folks, Joe Rogan, comedians, Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Burr, comedians in cars getting coffee and that sort of thing. All that normal content. But these were, I think, some of the stranger ones that I watched, with a few exceptions. And hopefully there were a few in there that you've never even heard of before and might want to go check out. And yeah, if you like them, please leave a comment or text me. Let me know that you like these things. And Share your suggestions too. I'd really love in this time, especially as people are maybe bored at home and looking for different things to do and different content, especially things that maybe stretch you, make you think about things you haven't thought of before, or uh, give you some how-to information about, like I said, that make you feel like you're learning about home reno or about restoration of hardware or something else. I think it's really important to feed that creative piece of ourselves, not just the consuming piece, where you're like, wow, I feel like I'm learning, and these are skills that I might choose to do someday. I might choose to go make my own nightstand. I might choose to refurbish a room in my house. I might choose to do this. I might choose to. So I personally think it's great to have a mixture of YouTube channels where you feel like you're learning as much as you're just consuming funny or interesting content. So thanks for watching, and hope everyone is doing well and continuing to stay sane as we all shelter in place. Thanks.